I'm here today with a very, very special guest. This is, in my eyes, a very unique opportunity to highlight perhaps a one-of-a-kind player from Australia in the chess world, and that player is Rheyansh Annapureddy, who lives and hails from Point Cook in Melbourne, Victoria, and with a rating of 1682, based on the last FIDE rating list. You are the first-ranked player in Australia for your age and the sixth in the world for those born 2014 and after. Hello, Rayanch. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. Now, I've had the pleasure of playing you, Rayanch, earlier in this year at the Dobell Cup in Melbourne in a blitz game. And admittedly, the first time I played you, it was just an incredible experience because I basically knew as soon as that game finished as a draw that I'd witnessed something extremely special. And at the time, of course, you were just 7 years old. And I think it was almost predictable that you were going to win some big tournaments this year, and you have. So one of the main reasons why we're here is that you've recently have won a pretty big tournament. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that, Rayanch. What tournament have you won?
So, recently I have won the Asian Youth Chess Championship.
That's right, and that was for the under-8s category, and that's basically pulling together all of the best under-8 players in the entirety of Asia, which is a very, very competitive region, including countries such as India and Vietnam, who had some particularly strong players. And you actually won that tournament with an undefeated score of 7.5 out of 9. Can you talk me through that? What was the journey from round 1 to round 9? What was it like?
So in the first, for the first 3 rounds, I got easy, guys, and then slowly the rating increased, and then I ended up to draw some games.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask, those draws, is there some strategy behind those draws? Because when we watch elite grandmasters play, you know, a lot of players, for example, Magnus Carlsen, he doesn't necessarily win every single game of a tournament. Is there some strategy to how you were sort of planning draws, or were you trying to win every game? What's your strategy?
So for 1 or 2 games, I accepted the draw when he played it, which I thought was a kind of a wrong thing. But yeah, the Persian was like a draw. I could have tried, but yeah, I just wanted to accept the draw.
Okay.
And for the other one, I knew I couldn't push, and if I would have pushed, I would do so. I just did a repetition.
Yeah, now that's a very important thing that I think you've just cited there. Now, I've been in the chess game for a long time, but I fully expect that you will go a lot further than I have in terms of playing chess. Now, something that is even very difficult at sort of the early master levels and sort of professional levels is the ability to say, hey, I can't push anymore. I should take a draw here, having the maturity to do that. And at just 7 years old when this tournament was going on, and now you're 8, I believe, this is something that, I mean, having coached many, many players under the age of 10 in Australia, I've not sort of seen this maturity for a very long time. I'm not sure if you're aware, but once upon a time, we actually had an under-12 world champion, Bobby Cheng. And Bobby recently played in the Australian team for the Olympiad, and you know, he's now almost 2,600 rated. He came second in the Bangkok Open. And I'd love to sort of see your own journey, Rayanch. And I think that these things are very possible. So you also played in the World Cadets Championship, which was in Batumi, Georgia in September. Tell me about that tournament.
So I started off well in that tournament. For the 5 rounds, and then I went for a little bit of sickness, so I lost the 6th round, but then I came back with the 7 and 8 rounds, and after the 8th round, I couldn't really play really well, and lost 2 of the rounds again, and then at the last round I drew.
And then the last round you drew,
and I came 10th place.
Now you've just come 10th in the under-8 World Championships, effectively, is what this tournament is. And it sounds to me like there's a little bit of disappointment in your result. I mean, if I came 10th in the under-8 World Championships, I would have, at that age, I would have probably been cheering, but you seem like you have a very professional approach. You're like, no, I know that what I can achieve, and I know that I can go above and beyond even these extraordinary performances. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah, and where does this mentality come from? I mean, there's obviously you've obviously worked very, very hard at this. You know, is it family, coaches, friends? Who's supporting you on this chess journey?
Um, Sajid is supporting me.
Hmm.
He is telling me like the opponents, what openings they play,
Brilliant.
and all the theory they do.
Excellent. Okay. And what does your training regime look like? I mean, how much of your time during the week? Because you go to school, right, Rayanch? Is that true?
Yeah, I go to school.
How much time do you have for chess during the week?
Yeah, sometimes I skip school just to.
It's necessary, I guess, isn't it? And so are we talking hours every day on chess to make sure that you are
Yeah, around 5-6 hours.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And I mean, that's something that I really wanted to express in this interview is just how much hard work you put in. I could have sat here and said, you know, Rayanch, you're a very talented player, but sometimes I think that the word talent actually brings down the amount of hard work that you're putting into, which, you know, it's unfathomable that at 8 years old you're putting in this amount of time to a game that you obviously love. So that's great. Yeah. Now, another result that I wanted to talk about, which is slightly different, was actually an event that was played online, I believe, and this was the ChessKid International Children and Youth Festival. You got first place in a tournament there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What was that tournament?
So we played on ChessKid, which I don't really use a lot.
Mm-hmm. Where do you play most of your chess? Because ChessKid, I'm going to imagine that you don't necessarily use ChessKid because you want to be playing against masters on chess.com or Lichess.
Yeah, I use chess.com and Lichess to play.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great. So, Rayanch, I'm going to take a bit of a step back from results now, and I'm going to ask you a bit of a tricky question. Well, it's probably not so tricky. It's probably easier than my other ones. But where and from whom did you learn to play chess?
To start off, I learned from my brother.
Okay.
Who, when he got the trophies, I felt like I should get trophies as well.
Okay, and so then, competitive rivalry. Okay, and go on.
And then my mom and my dad set the plans up for me. Mm-hmm. And when I actually learned how to play chess, I started to play with my uncle and play games on chess.com.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, and your uncle, who you mentioned there, is your uncle a strong chess player?
He's not really strong, but yeah, he knows how to play chess.
Brilliant. Okay, Rayanch, I'm going to ask you a big question now. What are your ambitions and goals in chess?
So first, I want to get a rating of 2000 and become a CM.
Become a CM.
Step by step, I want to get to the GM, and then at the end, I want to beat Magnus Carlsen and become the world champion.
Yes, I was actually going to ask that. I was going to say, is there a player that you would very much like to play against and potentially beat? And I'm assuming that the answer to that is none other than the world champion Magnus Carlsen. So that's an awesome goal, and I hope that you get the opportunity to do that. There's a bit of an age gap between you guys, but as we've seen in chess before, age doesn't matter all that much. I mean, if we follow the story of Abhimanyu Mishra, Grandmaster at 12 years old, are there similar ambitions for you?
Yeah, I also want to be the youngest Grandmaster in the world.
Excellent. And that would be absolutely record smashing for an Australian chess player too, because I believe that, and I may be slightly off about this, but I believe our youngest ever Grandmaster was Grandmaster Anton Smirnov at 16 years old in Australia. And based on your current trajectory, that's a very realistic goal. I'm sure that you'll have a lot to do with some of these top Australian players in the lead up to becoming one yourself. So my next question for you is, do you have a favorite chess player or someone's games who you just really enjoy studying or looking at?
My favorite chess players are Dean Liren and MVL because I usually slowly squeeze the game and use tactics to win. So and that's the same thing they do in their games.
Using tactics and slowly squeezing. Okay, so you're more of a positional player. That's very interesting to me. At 8 years old, I can safely say, having coached a lot of kids, one of the main things that there normally isn't a great level of understanding in is positional play. So for you to come out and say, "Hey, this is what I'm really good at," yeah, that's very exciting for your future, I think. So speaking about that, what do you think would separate you from other quality players of your age? What's the thing that's going to take you from here to there and become a 2000 and a master? Is there any defining qualities?
I have a lot of hard work, skills, and dedication.
Hard work and dedication. And what are some challenges that you've faced, whether that's in tournaments or outside of tournaments?
I usually don't play in age category tournaments. And even I do, I mostly choose the open section.
Choosing the open section. And yes, there's not a lot of age specific tournaments in Australia. And if you have spent a little bit of time in Europe and Asia now and seen some tournaments, they have these more age specific tournaments. So that means that probably when you go and play an open tournament, you're playing against some of Australia's top players. And being in Melbourne, I'm talking about people like James Morris and Ari Dale and Jack Puccini. Are these players that you want to play against, and or do you feel anxious playing against such high-rated players?
Yeah, I really want to play with them in the Melbourne Chess Club.
Yeah, the Melbourne Chess Club, which is a great place, one of Australia's premier chess clubs. And it's awesome that you have the opportunity to play there, I think. So, Rayanch, when can we next expect to see you in action over the board? What tournaments have you got coming up?
The Oceania Chess.
Oceania Chess. I'll be there as well, so that's going to be fun. Cool. And is that what you've?
Then the Australian Nationals.
So you're going to, is that the Australian Open in Perth, or are you playing Australian Juniors? Which one are you going to play?
Australian Juniors.
Aussie Juniors, okay. So they'll take place a week either side of each other in Melbourne in January. And that's going to be very exciting to see how you perform in those events. I'm sure you're already well into your sort of, first rest after this amazing under-8 Asian Youth Championship win, and then preparation for that. Very exciting. Well, Rayanch, it's been amazing to get to know you here, and some of your ambitions and goals in chess. I think it's going to be a very interesting journey for you over the next couple of years, because it's a very important few years. And I think the reason why we're doing this as well is to inform people that Australia has a very, very serious chess talent coming through.
Yeah.
And you need all the support of the Australian chess community and otherwise. So hopefully off the back of this, you'll get some support. So thank you so much. And we'll talk very, very soon, I'm sure. Thank you, Rayanch.
Thank you.